जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी। जय जशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन। जशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन। जशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन। जमुना तीर वनचारी। जमुना तीर वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधा कृष्ण चंद्र राधे। जय निताय गौरांग निताय गौरांग निताय गौरांग जय निताय गौरांग। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 प्रभुपाद
जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्यष्टोत्तर श्री हिडवानकेश भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैस्तिकी। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, chapter number 21, text number 1. Vidura uvacha स्वयंभुवस्य च मनो स्वयंभुवस्य च मनो स्वयंभुवस्य च मनो वंशः परमसम्मतः वंशः परमसम्मतः वंशः परमसम्मतः कथ्यतां भगवन् यत्र कथ्यता भगवन् यत्र कथ्यता भगवन् यत्र मैथुनेनैधीरे प्रजाः मैथुनेनैधीरे प्रजाः मैथुनेनैधीरे प्रजाः। विदुर उवाच स्वयंभुवस्य च मनो वंशः परमसम्मतः कथ्यतां भगवन् यत्र मैथुनेनैधीरे प्रजाः। विदुर उवाच स्वयंभुवस्य च मनो वंशः परमसम्मतः कथ्यतां भगवन् यत्र मैथुनेनैधीरे प्रजाः। विदुर उवाच स्वयंभुवस्य च मनो वंशः परमसम्मतः कथ्यतां भगवन् यत्र मैथुनेनैधीरे प्रजाः। विदुर उवाच स्वयंभुवस्य च मनो वंशः परमसम्मतः कथ्यतां भगवन् यत्र मैथुनेनैधिरे प्रजा विदुरवाच स्वयंभुवस्य च मनो वंशः परमसम्मतः कद्यदा भगवन् यत्र मैथुनेनैधिरे प्रजाः विदुरवाच स्वयंभुवस्य च मनो वंशः परमसम्मतः अद्यता भगवन् यत्र मैथुनेनैधिरे प्रजाः. What meaning? Vidura vacha. Vidura said, Swayambhuvasya, of Swayambhuva, of Swayambhuva, cha, and Manoha, of Manu, Vamshaha, the dynasty, Parama, most, Sammataha, esteemed, Katyatam, kindly describe, Bhagavan, O worshipful sage, Yatra, in which Maithunena, through sexual intercourse, Edhire, multiplied, Prajaha, the progeny. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. Vidura said, the line of Swayambhuva Manu was most esteemed. O worshipful sage, I beg you, give me an account of this race, whose progeny multiplied through sexual intercourse. Translation with the repetition. Vidura said, the line of Swayambhuva Manu was most esteemed. O worshipful sage, I beg you, give me an account of this race, whose progeny multiplied through sexual intercourse. Purport. A regulated sex life to generate good population is worth accepting. Actually, Vidura was not interested in hearing the history of persons who merely engage in sex life. But he was interested in the progeny of Swayambhuva Manu because in that dynasty good devotee kings appeared who protected their subjects very carefully with spiritual knowledge. By hearing the history of their activities, therefore, one becomes more enlightened. An important word used in this connection is Parama Sammataha, which indicates that the progeny created by Swayambhuva Manu and his sons was approved of by great authorities. In other words, sex life for creating exemplary population is acceptable to all sages and authorities of Vedic scriptures. The sense of Bhaktivedanta purpose. Om Ajnanaatimirandasya Jnananjanachalakaya Chakshulmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnubadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashanti Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 21st chapter. Conversation between Manu and Kardama, the first shloka. So, previous chapter. Conversation between Maitreya and Vidura. So, the Bhagavatam, so the chapters goes based on the inquiries. So earlier in so inquiry starts about the division of creation from Vidura, from Maitreya. Then part of the creation, the different great saintly personalities has created. The 12th chapter, creation of the Kumaras and ending the chapter from the Brahma's body, 2 bodies are created, a male and female, and that female and male become Manu and Shatarupa. And Manu indulge in sex to create a population, because the whole creation is Brahma want to increase the population. There is a primary creation by the Lord, and the secondary creation is the Sarga and Visarga. Sarga is the Supreme Lord created, Visarga is the living entities, and Brahma created many sages. And from the body of Brahma, when Brahma creating, you not create the living entity out of the sex indulgence. You created by the power of the Lord. Lord is empowered him to create on the based on Vedic knowledge. Brahma start creating. So the Brahma's body, 2 personality came, like a male and female, and that is Manu and Shatarupa. And Shatarupa and Manu indulge in sex, the female body. Shatarupa is the female body, and Manu is the male body, indulge in sex, and born of Priyavrata, Uttanapada, and some other 5 women children's the Manu has got through Shatarupa. Then after this creation, Vidura inquire from the Maitreya Rishi, what did Swayambhuva Manu did after creation of when Manu came into existence. So there in the chapter 13th, Manu approached Lord Brahma, what is my duty? You please instruct me. So Brahma asked him to rule earth, and one more duty is increase the progeny and rule the earth on based on the Vedic literature. Mean the spiritual subject matter is the most important in ruling. So, and then when Manu came to rule, in the earth was not in a place. Then the chapter went on speaking to the Varaha. Varaha is lifted the earth. When Varaha lifting the earth, there is the Hiranyaksha was objected. Then further inquiry about how the Hiranyaksha's birth, how it came. Then Vedara Maitreya Munis further spoke about the Manasa Putras of the Brahma, the four Kumaras have traveled to search of the Lord Vishnu, and they enter the Vaikuntha Loka. Then further chapter go on, describe about the Vaikuntha planet. Then curse of the two gatekeepers, Jaya and Vijaya, to become a demon. Then the chapter went on, untimely pregnancy of Diti through Kashyapa. So that these two cursed Dwarapalakas, the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha, Jaya and Vijaya, they got a curse to become a demon, and those demons take a shelter of the womb of the mother Diti. So untimely pregnancy of Diti, these two are demons came, and Kashyapa Muni is severely criticized Diti for approach for the sex indulge. So this way the chapter go on. Then battle between Hiranyaksha and Varahadeva, the killing of Hiranyaksha. Then further Vidura inquire. In this way, further Vidura inquire from the Maitreya Rishi. Swayambhuva Manu. Because that was the chapter where the subject is deviated to describe many things. Again he inquiring about what is the, you tell about the generation of Swayambhuva Manu. So that's why this is the chapter. Start with Swayambhuva. Vidura is asking, the line of Swayambhuva Manu was most esteemed. O worshipable sage, I beg you give me an account of this race, whose progeny multiplied through sex intercourse. The Swayambhuva Manu's generation is by sex intercourse. But when Brahma is created, he not through a wife. Now Prabhupada is explaining the purport. Vidura is such an exalted personality. And Brahma's creation is all right because of the empowerment of Lord. He created. But here Brahma's generation, whatever the dynasty, is by the sex indulge. Then why Vidura is interested, a generation or population is created by sex indulge? It's natural. There is a sex indulge, there is the generation comes. So, Prabhupada is telling here, regulated sex life is, sex life to generate a good population is worth accepting. Actually, Vidura was not interested in hearing the history of persons who merely engaged in sex life. But he was interested in the progeny of Swayambhuva Manu, because in that dynasty good devotee kings appeared who protected their subject very carefully, and that subject is spiritual knowledge. So Vidura is interested in hearing from Maitreya Muni because those subject matters are spiritually have the substance. If there is no spiritual substance, then such an exalted personality Vidura is not at all interested. Now, one more important thing here discussing about Prabhupada's links: regulated sex life to generate good population is worth to accepting. Normally, present day, attraction to the women purpose is to enjoy, a man to man or women to men, for the sex enjoyment. Sex enjoyment is sense gratification. And Shastra condemn sense gratification. If sex indulgence is a sense gratification which is condemned by Shastra, why this still exists? Now that is the reason he has say regulated sex life is accepted. Even he has say Vamshaha Parama Sammataha. Even all the great sages are accepted. Sammataha mean opinion, they are accepted this particular, this because whatever sex indulgence of the Swayambhuva Manu is according to the Vedic wisdom. If anything is not according to Dharma Shastra, Lord Krishna say, Dharma virdho kamasmi. If something is according to Dharma Shastra, that sex is myself. If it is not, that is not accepted in the Vedic literature. That means one should not think that, okay, marriage is the license for my sense gratification or sex enjoyment. The normally present age, the marriage means sense gratification. The purpose of the marriage is sense gratification, not to produce a cultured human being. That was not the purpose of sex. And this propensity is called demonic. Why? A attraction towards the women for the sex is a demonic. Okay. Why? Because in previous chapter also, when Brahma is engaged in creation, and the demons who are created from Brahma and attacking Brahma for the sex indulgence. And Brahma, out of fear, offered a prayer to the Lord, and the Lord asked him to give up this body. Because this polluted body you give up. So when Lord Brahma is given the polluted body, then he came in the form of a shadow, and it formed a woman form. When that shadow is appeared as a beautiful woman form, these demons are attracted to that woman form. That was the discussion in the previous chapters. These demons are attracted to the women form of the shadow woman form of the Brahma. So now you see, these demons are simply attracted to the beautiful womanly form. That means any man is attracted to a woman for simply enjoyment is actually the demonic nature. Other understanding is that, okay, one to get married mean so that whatever the progeny will come, that is for the benefit of the upliftment of the common people, to take up the spiritual life and to help others to advance in spiritual life, elevate oneself and enlighten and empowered, and so that he is elevating himself and he also help others. So here particular you see in the case of Swayambhu Manu, who is the ruler, king, very responsible. So a king also called Naradevata. A Brahman also called Naradevata as a king also, because the Lord's representative. So in other way, a king is a representative of the Lord. Lord comes to this material world to establish dharma and protect the dharma. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Yada dahi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. Whenever declaring a religion, I'll come and descend and re-establish the religion. The responsibility of the king also to keep up the religious principles strongly by following the religious principles properly, so that all the population or the praja, the citizens, benefited, and at the end they are eligible to enter or get out of the entanglement of this material miseries. This is the duty of a king. That's the reason a king is very responsible. So that's the reason the Vidura is interested to know about what this dynasty is. So Prabhupada also say, good devotee kings appear who protect their subjects very carefully with the spiritual knowledge. By hearing the history of their activities, therefore, one becomes more enlightened. So, Vidura want to discuss this subject matter because this subject matter is not an ordinary human being. This is a subject matter of the history of the Mahabhagavata. Swayambhuva Manu is one of the Mahabhagavata. It's a great devotee. Because the devotee's life is to be followed by common people. Mahajanaha Gatha Pantha. One should follow the paths followed by, paths lead by great Mahabhagavatas. That's the reason the activities of Swayambhuva Manu is very relevant to discuss. That's the reason Vidura is interested to hear about Swayambhuva Manu's dynasty, because Swayambhuva Manu is not attracted to men for sense gratification. Because it's the order of the Brahmadev to Swayambhuva Manu. So after Brahma has created many sages also. After creating the sages, Brahma is order them. Because one point of time, when Brahma is creating, Brahma is felt that, okay, so much of creative activity is still pending. The population is still very less. So he ordering all the sages to engage in producing more population. the human race is increasing mean the Atma getting the human form of life, which is offered us to elevate spiritually. Human body, a human form of life is offered to Jiva or Atma for spiritual enlightenment and get out of this birth and cycle and enter in the spiritual world. So increase the human population mean Jiva is given the opportunity to take up the spiritual life. That's the reason Brahma is ordering we increase the population. Similarly, Manu also engage in the increase the population and not simply increase the population like cats and dogs. Here when Manu is creating the living entity, he was very responsible because human life is not meant for simply sense gratification. Vrishabhadev speaking, he instructing, so responsible means that, okay, he is very responsible to take care of his next generation. If not, then don't become. If you not to elevate your own children in a spiritual path, then you don't become a father or a mother or a guru or king. The Vrishabhadeva says, Nayam deho dehabhajan rugoke kashtan kaman arhade bhujvaniye tapo divyam putrakayena tattvam shuddhed yasmad brahma sokyam anantam. There are also kind of enjoyment for sense gratification. And simply don't carried away by sense gratification. So, Rishabhadeva, simply don't carried away by sense gratification. She say, my dear boys, of all the living entity who have accepted their material body in this world, one who has been awarded this human form should not be work hard day and night simply for sense gratification. Which available even for the dogs and hogs that eat stool. In every living entity is enjoying all sense gratification. They engage in sense gratification. The human life is not meant for sense gratification. Human life is meant for sense control. So one should engage in the penance and austerities to attain the divine position of devotional service. By such activity, one's heart is purified, and when he is attained this position, he attains eternal blissful life. Not merely simple short sense gratification. Out of all sense gratification, the most important sense gratification in the material world is, here say, Maitune naidhire prajaha. Maituna means cells in the so don't think that, okay, Manu is created, okay, he is very interested in sex indulge. That's the reason all these children came in existence. No. Manu is very, very enlightened personality. Similarly, in a devotee's case also, the devotees are practicing devotion services. And these all are deviating from the real path, what is human life is meant for. For example, there is a opposite sex attraction. A man to man or a man to man. It is actually, in one sense, it is a degradation in the spiritual path. Otherwise, Shastra don't recommend this, okay, for the human life, marriage is a must. No, marriage is a must, okay. If the marriage is allowed, when you are able to create a good population. Mean cultured human being which will spiritually enlighten. Otherwise, or one is, if that is the purpose, okay, spiritual enlightenment is only the purpose, one can lead a life of celibacy and engage in the service of the Lord under the order of the spiritual master. And much easier. Normally, present age is very difficult to control the sex. Here say regulated sex. So, getting a children mean one should undergo a process. There is a steps in impregnating a woman if they want a child. Garbhadhana sanskara. Garbhadhana sanskara one should follow. And once he begot a child, then no more sex indulge, not allowed, according to the Vedic instruction. And in the modern age, there is so much of advertisement for all these things, and promote it. Okay, sex life is, why to restrict? The God is created, the God is given this facility, mean use it. Where is the wrong? This is a normal atheistic philosophy. So Vedic literature totally talk opposite to this statement. In present age, one's own spiritual growth itself is a very difficult task, right? No? So protecting oneself in the spiritual path itself is a very difficult task. So now taking care of, okay, many people, okay, I'll also take them, you all in spiritual path. Highly impossible task. So normal one's own trouble, body related, control of the senses is a tough task. Now your marriage life is expansion. Sri means Sri, the meaning of Sanskrit verse is expansion. So the reality, it's expansion, okay, once married, then you want Grita, Griha, Kshetra, Vitta, Apta, Kalatra. So marry, then you want a home, then maintain the home, you want money, Vitta, then you want a children, then you want a relatives. In this way, you keep on expansion. Now, when you are alone, your problem is your problem. Then you marry, your problem is also your problem, your wife problem also your problem. Then you get a children, okay, then your problem also your problem, your wife problem also your problem, your children's problem also your problem. Then problems are called expanding in this way, and I will entangle in a cage. So last one class, it's okay, there is a Bhagavatam, it's okay. So a silkworm prepares a cocoon, and silkworm binds himself in the cocoon and arrests it inside. Silkworm. Similarly, human being expand in this way in sense gratification. Simple one problem, controlling the senses is already difficult. So so now licensed to control the sense gratifications get married, then expansion starts, and one by one, and entangle in so many problems, then very difficult to come out of. And so that's the reason. So the most important, if one thinks that the most important part of the life is devotional practices and serving the Lord, at the end of the life. Not the end of the life, even in this life. So this is also misunderstanding. The people are, okay, one who practice spiritual, then after death he'll go to Vaikuntha Loka, and then in Vaikuntha Loka is unlimited enjoyment will be there. Definitely, when you enter the Vaikuntha planet, there is unlimited enjoyment is there. No. That is there even in this world also it is there. A person is very serious in spiritual practice. One who is able to cut down all the sinful reactions and completely qualified to enter into the spiritual world. Even in this world, in the same body, he is able to experience the Brahma Saukya. Here Rishabhadeva talking the Brahma Saukya Anantam. Here say, by such act, one's heart is purified when one attains the position of an eternal blissful life, which is transcendental to the material happiness and which continues forever. Even in this life, he is able to experience the Brahma Saukya, the unlimited blissful life in this material world. Because there is no difference between a material world and spiritual world. It depends on how it is utilized. If it is utilized in the Krishna service, or it is utilized in my own sense gratification. This is only the difference between spiritual and material. If you utilize it in your own sense gratification, it is material. It is utilized in the service of the Lord, then same thing is the spiritual. So one no need to wait, okay, after the death. Then when we say that after the death, okay, मरने के बाद क्या होगा किसको क्या पता? No, Shastra don't say it, okay, only after the death you'll attain the Brahma Saukya. Shastra says, so no, if you have qualified in this life, in this body only, because they're the great sages experience. Rishabhadeva is the very rightful example. Rishabhadeva is not at all interested in anything. So someone is not at all interested in any of the material enjoyment. That means, because some unlimited enjoyment is already experiencing, that the reason it is interested in the material world. That is a symptom for the devotees also. A devotee is practicing devotion service. His attraction to the material enjoyment comes down, mean is advancing. My attraction to the material world is increasing, mean my devotional practice is not going very properly. So I have to look back. So I deviating towards some material enjoyment. Many way. Gross material enjoyment or subtle material enjoyment, both are there. Okay, gross material enjoyment, gross experiencing grossly. Subtle enjoyment and mentally experience looking for some enjoyment. Name, fame, recognition, power, subtle life of enjoyment. Even in a devotee's life, if such attractions are there, his devotion practices are not going properly. So we should look back and rectify all these things. So because the devotion practice is going very nicely, mean one's attraction towards this all the material enjoyments comes down. He simply engage in devotion service and more and more and more, never tired in doing the services and more enthusiastic. Okay, so this new chapter starts the discussion of the conversation between Kardama Muni and Swayambhuva Manu. So very interesting chapter and lot many topics to learn in the any Bhagavata topics are like this. Any conversation so much enlightening and so many subjects to hear and understand and very enlightening. Okay, Hare Krishna. Let's stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.